What's up, everybody? Another weekend of college football is in the books. So let's take a look at this week's top 10 rankings. Florida State, what are you doing? Let's go. All right, guys, a pretty interesting weekend in college football. A couple of undefeated teams lose, so you'll notice a couple of new names here in my top 10. Now, to just go ahead and address this situation before I see it in the comments section, there are several group of 5 teams that are undefeated, most notably Cincinnati. We also have Coastal Carolina coming on strong. The only one that I've had in my top 10 out of the group of 5 up until now is Cincinnati. It's going to remain that way. Look, you can only put so many teams in the top 10. And the bottom line is, I think any of these teams in my top 10, maybe even in my top 12 or 13, would be favored and win against Coastal Carolina. Not taking anything away from what Coastal Carolina is doing, not taking anything away from what BYU is doing. They're undefeated. That's great. But at some point, you have to take their schedule into consideration, at least some. So that's what I've done. So Cincinnati will remain the only team in my top 10 list as of today. Let's get right into it, though, here. Number 10, Southern Cal Trojans. Now, they're 3-0 in the Pac-12. They had a decided win over Utah yesterday. But they seem to be getting better every week. And looking at their schedule, so they already beat Arizona State week 1. They don't have many tough games on their schedule this season, quite frankly. So it's probably going to end up coming down to Southern Cal and Oregon. Oregon had a close game yesterday as well. But anyway, it's probably going to come down to those two teams in the Pac-12, and or either that or they will cannibalize themselves in the Pac-12. You have to have, in my opinion, a undefeated Pac-12 team come out of there to have a chance to make the playoffs because the season is so short. Nonetheless, pretty impressive victory yesterday for the Trojans, and I have them at number 10, making their first appearance in my top 10 this season. Let's look at number 9. We just got done talking about them. Oregon. Now, Oregon had a really close game yesterday with UCLA. Again, this is a team that needs to go undefeated. I still believe that Oregon's the best team, top to bottom, in the Pac-12. But we'll see. I mean, whoever they play in the Pac-12 championship, which is most likely going to be Southern Cal, should be interesting. So, I don't know. We'll see. But right now, Oregon is sitting there at 3-0, and they look like a pretty good squad. Look at number 8, Northwestern. They would leapfrog from outside of my top 10 into all the way down to number 8. At this point they're 5-0, and they had a great win yesterday over Wisconsin. And they beat them badly. The game was really never in question. They caused 5 turnovers for Wisconsin, and I'll admit I thought Northwestern was kind of a fraud. They hadn't played anybody that was really tough, and they were kind of a beneficiary of their schedule up to this point, being 4-0. But they seemed like a legit team. I mean, they played a legit team yesterday in Wisconsin, and they made them look foolish. So, at what point do you have to not give them credit for being 5-0? So I have them there at number 8. Can they challenge? I can't believe I'm saying this. Can they challenge Ohio State? Based on some of the defensive problems I saw yesterday for Ohio State, maybe they can. Hell, I don't know. We'll find out together, though. Anyway, nonetheless, Northwestern looking pretty good, man. Congratulations. I have them at number 8. Number 7, what did I tell you last week? And the week before that, and the week before that, and the week before that, and the week before that. Cincinnati, to me, is an actual top 10 team in America. I've had them at 7 for weeks and weeks and weeks. The reason they're not going up is not their fault. It just is what it is. Now, another reason they're not going up specifically this week is because they did have a very close game that they very easily could have, and some people would say even should have lost yesterday against UCF. Nonetheless, they won the game. They got it done. They did what they had to do. They're undefeated. So they're not moving it down. I'm not moving them down to 8. I'm not moving it up to 6. They're going to stay solid at number 7 until they lose a game, most likely, or some of these teams in front of them have multiple losses. That's just the way it's going to go. No disrespect to Cincinnati. I think it's a really good team. I think they have probably the best coach in the group of 5, maybe one of the best coaching candidates out there for the group of 5, for the Power 5, I mean. Let's look at number 6. Florida. Florida's Florida. I don't know what to tell you. Florida's one of the top 5 or 6 teams in America. I don't think anybody's disputing that. Like some of these other teams, Ohio State, Clemson in some cases, they have defensive problems. Florida's, they're in a good position because they can score with anybody. They're going to have to do something defensively if they want to compete for a playoff situation with some of these other teams. That's just the way I feel. But nonetheless, I don't think there's 5 teams or 6 teams better than Florida in the country right now. Number 5, Texas A&M did not play this weekend, so they did not move up or down or sideways. Number 4, Clemson. Florida State, what are you doing? Why is this even a speculation? That's what I'm trying to figure out. How does this not a forfeit for Florida State? Because there's all kinds of different accusations running around. It's Clemson's fault, it's Florida State's fault, it's Clemson's fault, it's Florida State's fault. Clemson then offers to play either today or on Monday so that they can get more COVID tests to make sure everybody's clear between yesterday and Monday. They said no to that too. If you cancel a game, let's put it this way. If Clemson is willing to play the game, the ACC says that they're safe to play the game, and Florida State says we're not playing the game 3 hours before kickoff, that's a forfeit. I don't know how it's not a forfeit. I mean, can somebody explain to me why it's not a forfeit? And Clemson, I don't know how much money they spent going down there. A couple $100,000 at minimum. Now they even rented or set up one of these like a 28,000 square foot tent so that they could have social distance team meetings before the game. I'm sure that thing wasn't cheap. Plane, the whole 9 yards, hotels, food. Anyway, it is what it is. Florida State's scared. They didn't want to they didn't want the whooping, so they found the easy way out. And it is what it is. We'll see if the game gets played later. Nonetheless, I'm not punishing Clemson in my rankings for that. Just not doing it. It's not their fault. Let's look at number 3, Buckeyes. Man, Indiana gave the Buckeyes everything that they could handle. That's a good game. Indiana's a good team. So, this whole thing about, well, how do you have the Buckeyes ranked in your top 5, Pete? They haven't played anybody. Look at the combined record of the teams that they beat is whatever, 3-8 or whatever the numbers are. I don't care. Because I'm looking at the team play and they look like one of the best teams in the country. Clearly, like a lot of these other teams, like Florida, like Clemson, right? Maybe they have some defensive issues, but nonetheless, still one of the top teams in the country. And so now they play, what was Indiana ranked, 9 or 8? I think they were ranked 9 in the AP. And of course, so they beat Indiana. I mean, it was a great game. They beat Indiana, and all of a sudden, Indiana was overrated anyway. They're no good either. This is what happens. Anytime a highly ranked team like the Buckeyes or Clemson or Alabama or anybody plays a legit team and beats them, then they go, oh, well, that team was no good anyway. This is the mentality of some fans that they can never give credit to anybody for anything. Everybody's bad. The only team that's good every year is the one that wins the national championship, and the rest of them all suck. Buckeyes have a top 10 win on their schedule. Irish didn't play this week, left them where they were. Alabama looks like the best team in the country. Undefeated. They are the team to beat, I believe. Now, of course, they are beatable. And we'll get to see them play one of these teams here at some point. Either Clemson or Ohio State or Notre Dame or Florida or somebody. We'll get to see them play them in a postseason situation, I guarantee it. We'll probably definitely get to see Florida play Alabama in the SEC championship. But let's go out of conference here. And I'm talking about out of conference. So whether it's Notre Dame or Ohio State or Clemson or somebody in the future, we'll get a chance to see how they stack up with them. But to me, they look like the best team in the country. How about Najee Harris? I mean, he's having himself a hell of a season and a hell of a career at Alabama. But he was just on fire yesterday. On fire. So there you guys have it. Alabama, looks like the most well-rounded, complete team in the country. These other teams have a little bit of catching up to do to get to where they are. Let me know your comments below on my top 10 list. If you're a Florida State fan, don't come in here crying about Clemson's having one player testing positive for COVID, okay? There's protocols and systems set in place for this kind of thing to happen. And what happened yesterday is inexcusable. Have a great day. Pigskin Pete's checking out.